I am finally sharing with you my own manifestation journey, where it started, how it went, and why I decided to coach and to teach the law of assumption, specifically the way that I do, focusing a lot on practicality and ease and simplicity. And I have had this topic at the back of my mind for a long time, and I've been mentioning it here and there. And I have had so many people asking me about my own journey, my own experience with this. People are curious. And apart from that, why is this important? It is, first of all, because all of you who are following me and my coaching clients who are getting coaching from me, have the right to know why you should be following me and what I have been through with this. And also, I am convinced that this is going to give you a lot of hope. So if there are people out there, and I'm quite convinced there are, who think that they are particularly bad at this, when you hear my story, I am sure that you are going to have hope. Because I have been one of those who just couldn't figure it out for a long time. And I thought that I was the one who was really bad at this. And it was a disaster. It started like a disaster, and it was quite bad for a little bit until I figured it out. So, welcome to my channel. My name is Anna. I'm a manifestation coach. On this channel, I teach the law of assumption as taught by Neville Goddard, while I also keep it simple and practical so that you can take it and apply it to your own manifestations right away. You will see in a moment why this is. And if you happen to need help or guidance with your own manifestations, you are very welcome to book a coaching session with me from the link in the description box below. I'll be happy to help you. So, let's just start from the beginning. I was, as many people out there, introduced to The Secret movie. It was in 2010. And when I watched it, my mind was blown. It was amazing. They were saying that I can be, do, and have anything that I want because of my own mind. My mind was capable of attracting, that's what it was called back then, whatever experience, thing that I wanted. And it was amazing because I had a lot of, many dreams, plans, things that I wanted, experiences that I wanted, problems that needed solving, and it just sounded the most perfect thing that could happen. So I started excessively studying every single person who appeared in that movie. And everything was about the law of attraction. We knew nothing else back then. And I watched that movie over and over again. I don't even remember how many times, really many times. I studied the material of every single person that appeared in that movie, plus every author and book that they mentioned in that movie. It was a lot. It was a lot. But I wanted to make sure that I have all the information that I need so that I can apply it, because the point of all that was that I am going to get the life of my dreams. Needless to say, it didn't work. Because the law of attraction is a weird thing. I genuinely still, till this day, don't even know if it's actually a law, because the law of attraction creates a lot of problems. It is contradicting itself in many ways. And specifically in that movie, and of course everyone who teaches that, some things that they say is correct. A lot of stuff that they said is not only contradicting, but it's wrong. There's a lot of wrong information in it. And that creates confusion. I was going to say like you have no idea, but I'm pretty sure that many of you have an idea what that's like. So the main problem with the law of attraction is that it starts out by creating separation. If you're here on my channel, you are probably following the law of assumption. You know that the law of assumption teaches that there's no separation. That's the basis of it. The law of attraction starts out by creating the separation because you attract something from out there in. That separation, that's already a problem because you are separated from your desire, and also there's a lot of focus on the universe out there. And it's like you need to convince the universe that you deserve the desire. And you never really know how to convince it or if it is convinced, but it's still out there. The universe out there needs to be convinced, and they treat it like a person. And this reminds me of religions, really, where you have a God who's out there somewhere controlling. It needs to be really convinced that you're a good person so that you don't end up in hell. It's to me, I don't know if anyone else has this idea, but to me, the law of attraction reminds me a lot of religions. So stuff that I was trying to understand was this idea of vibration and frequency. To be honest, I get it that everything is a vibration, etc., etc. But when you are teaching someone to manifest a specific outcome, saying that you need to vibrate at the frequency of your desire makes absolutely no sense. And again, it creates confusion, and I was continuously left feeling that I don't understand it. Something must be wrong with me because everyone seems to repeat the same thing, so everyone seems to be getting it except me. Except it really doesn't make sense. To this day, I have no idea what it means to vibrate at the frequency of whatever. And they have these, if you have watched The Secret, you probably know. If you haven't, I don't recommend. Genuinely, I don't recommend. But if you haven't, they have this chart with every emotion you have that has frequencies. Happiness is a different frequency than joy, than love, then there's anger, then sadness, then something else. And whatever you vibrate with, that's what you attract. And it creates this whole world of questions. And it also creates this, no, it doesn't create the idea. They specifically say it, that you need to feel happy to attract happy things, which means that if you're unhappy or you have some negative feelings, you're going to attract horrible things, so you can't do that. What that creates is suppressing your negative emotions, which is the worst thing you can do. And it doesn't work. It just doesn't work like that. That has created a whole community or this culture of toxic positivity that I need to be positive. In reality, you are not positive. You're just suppressing the negative and pretending that you're positive. And your mind doesn't play with pretend. We know that from the law of assumption. So I was trying to figure this out, like how do I vibrate at the frequency of something that I want, or oh my God, if I ever felt something negative, sometimes we have arguments in our head, which is obviously not recommended, but as you're learning, you don't know that. So all of a sudden I would notice that I have been negative for X amount of time, and I would panic that now inevitably I'm going to attract horrible things in my life. And it was this back and forth of, I don't know what I'm doing I did something horrible, and I would read all these books and listen to all these audios that were available on YouTube back then. And I was always left with the same question. Okay, I get it. You keep saying throughout the whole book or throughout this whole 1 hour long audio that my mind creates. I know it doesn't create, it was attract. It was all attract. And that I can have everything I want, I can be whatever I want, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to apply it. What is my part in this? Because it was all ask, believe, receive. I don't know how to do that. I was always left with, okay, I get that I can have whatever, but I just don't know how to apply it. And the more I read, the more I had questions, and it was all about, you need to send this signal to the universe, that signal to the universe. If you do this, the universe is going to know that you're not really ready. And a lot of it was, of course, like it's the mind, it's the thoughts become things, all those things. But there was also a lot of 3D stuff that people advised to do. Stuff like, and whatever I'm telling in this video, I have done these things. And when I say I have experience, I really have experience in everything. And it started with everything that didn't work. So if anyone wants to know what doesn't work, I'm your person. So it was a lot of like, for example, for those of you who are manifesting a specific person, the most common advice was, you need to sleep on one side of the bed because that sends the signal to the universe that that other side of the bed is for your specific person, so you're ready to have that person in your life. Or if you are making dinner and you live alone, you need to make dinner for two and place 2 plates on the table so that you send the universe the signal that you are with your specific person. And that was so idiotic. And it wasn't just that, it was a lot of other things that if you are something that completely blew my mind back then, and I have never done this until this day, I am not getting this out of my head, was the advice on how to attract money was, if you want to attract money, you have to give away your money. And that's a horrible advice, because can you imagine someone who is really fearful about money and they are struggling? Tell them, in whatever you have left of money, you have to give it away so that the universe sees that you have money, since you're giving it away, so that you can attract money. It just creates a lot of anxiety. And there was a lot of stuff like that, the weird stuff that is super idiotic. And even though I felt that many of those things were very idiotic, I had to try, because I genuinely didn't know what worked, what didn't, and I had to try to see. And a lot of times I felt like an idiot doing it, but I couldn't just, let it be on the way of me figuring out how it worked. And I was always, again, left with this question: did the universe receive the message? Did it get that I'm now ready to receive money and the solution to this problem and this thing, that other thing? And I never got the answer, to be honest. And it created so much frustration. Like, am I not getting it, or is this thing actually not working? And something that completely messed with me was, before that, there was also a lot of, you need to take inspired action. This idea of inspired action that people are still to this day struggling with comes from back then. You need to take inspired action, because when the inspired action comes to you, you need to take it so that you don't miss it. And again, I was left with this question: is this inspired action? Am I inspired? What is inspired? How do I feel when I'm inspired? Was it inspired, the thing that came to mind yesterday that I didn't know? So did I miss the chance? And I was living in constant confusion and fear of I've missed it or I can't have it. Because another thing, and this was probably the thing that messed with me the most, was I would read a full article or a book. I have read books that said that I can have everything, I can be everything, I can do everything. I just need to ask the universe and it will come to me. And on the last page, in the last part, would always say something like, but you need to keep in mind that people have free will. So if they don't want to do it, you can't force them. And I was like, can I or can I not have it? Because you just contradicted the whole book or the whole article. Or it was something like, you can have, be, and do whatever you want to do, but remember that if that thing is not meant for you, the universe will bring to you something better. And again, it created so much fear that then I can't have what I want. Then I can't. Because if the universe is deciding what I can or can't have, the universe outside of me, which is complete BS, then I can't have my desire. And it got worse and worse. This fear of, first you tell me that I can have everything, then you tell me I can't because of some free will and universe, which apparently knows better what I want. And even this idea that something better might come in, I don't like that. I don't want something better. I want my desire. And this is why I never question a client's desire, whatever it is. People come to me and say, oh, Anna, this sounds stupid, but it never sounds stupid. If you desire it, that's it. We don't question that. We work on how you manifest it. Because it was important to me that I got my desires, and these so-called teachers were promising the world and then not delivering anything. And I came to a point that this was a couple of years in where I desperately needed coaching, and it wasn't a thing back then. No one, I at least couldn't find a single person who was available to explain, to guide, to teach. And that was just frustrating. I needed someone to tell me that this is how it works, this is how it doesn't work. It was nowhere to find. I looked for people for quite some time until I gave up. And I have to say to you guys that you are so genuinely so lucky that you live in a time, I guess, we all could have manifested it before, but you have so much available, both as content on YouTube and coaches, that you can choose someone you trust and have guidance, have advice specifically tailored to you, because those sessions are specifically tailored to you and your story. So I had to do it myself. I had to figure out myself, and not figuring it out was not an option, because the idea of me having the life that I want and created from my mind, attracted from my mind, was just what I needed. So I kept looking. I came across online Joseph Murphy's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. That has been my first book. I found a PDF, and I didn't even know it was a book, to be honest. I printed it because I read a few lines and it sounded great. So I printed it, again, because I didn't know it was a book. I read it, and oh my goodness, it was different. It felt different. It felt non-BS. And I thought, why is this not included in The Secret? And till this day, it's kind of weird, to be honest, that Joseph Murphy and Neville Goddard and other law of assumption teachers were never mentioned in The Secret, which is weird, because if you do such a research on the topic, how is it possible that, I don't know, it's very strange. I read that and it felt like I had found something, but again, I had questions. It wasn't enough to convince me for some reason because I had been fed with all those ideas from the law of attraction, and I kept searching. Like, I have consumed information and books in an amount that is like almost embarrassing. And then I came across one of Neville's books. I don't remember which one. And again, it felt different. It was like, this sounds like the truth. It sounds more serious. It sounds like something. And I could see that both Joseph Murphy and Neville Goddard had similarities. It was later that I found out that these two had the same teacher and they're teaching exactly the same thing. So slowly I switched from the law of attraction to Neville and Murphy, and they never called it the law of attraction. That was also something interesting for me. I never read the law of attraction. Neville Goddard actually has coined the term law of assumption because it's of assumption. And all of a sudden, things started making sense. I got answers to all my questions. Free will. Neville Goddard specifically says there's no free will, everyone is you pushed out. There's no universe, it's your own mind. How do I know if the universe has received the signals, blah, blah, all those questions. Everything gets answered in Neville's texts, and Murphy also, to be honest. Murphy has been just as helpful, but Neville is different. He includes everything. So I started, the way that I was excessively consuming books and information before Neville, I started doing the same thing with him and Murphy. And I started reading, buying books, finding books. I read everything. And at some point I thought, I'm giving this a try. Let's see if it works. And the beauty of Neville's texts is that his teachings, just in general, is that he is precise. There's no woo-woo, there's no you can have this but not this, but the universe, but something better. He's very precise. He's like, you do this happens, and then you get this result. And he boosted my confidence like nothing else, or no one else. And I started seeing results, one thing, another thing, and it was so amazing that I finally, after years of frustration and confusion and fear of I might never get what I want, to, oh my God, this is working. And it's that simple. The complication was unnecessary. All this confusion and frustration that I went through was completely unnecessary. And I started manifesting my first things, and I started manifesting solutions to problems that were seemingly impossible to solve. And everyone would say, Anna, give up. This is never going to work. It doesn't work like this here. And I would, in my mind, keep telling myself, there's always a solution, etc., etc. I don't remember exactly how I did things back then. I still was unsure. I still was figuring it out, but it started working. And I had a whole period where, just to boost my own confidence, I started manifesting small things, useless things. Like, seeing a certain color car, or seeing people wearing certain stuff, or receiving stuff, or I don't know, different things, having people say specific things. And over and over and over. And although it wasn't life-changing stuff that I was receiving, it was life-changing in a way that I got used to this thought, the belief that I am the one doing it. And I highly recommend it, because at some point it gets becomes normal. It becomes your new normal. It becomes old. It's like, okay, I get it. I'm doing everything. And from there, I went to, wow, what else can I do? I remember the first time I had this thought was when I manifested change in the weather. And it was like, again, unnecessary. I thought, let's see if I can do it. They say I can manifest anything. I'll link the video of that in the description. By the way, I have made a video where I specifically explained what I did, how it happened. And when that happened, it blew my mind that if my mind can do this, what else can I do? And it has become a lifestyle. Of course, there's no going back from that. And this is where I started, no, that's not where, like it was after, years after this, that I noticed that wherever I go, whoever I meet, I talk about this. Like, this has become my main topic of my life. I talk about manifestation wherever I go, whoever I meet. It's all the time. And I thought to myself that this could be a good thing for me to use to help people, to coach specifically, to help people avoid all the bullshit I went through. Because I remember the confusion and it was uncomfortable, like I can't explain. And it was unnecessary. And I think it's completely unnecessary for any one of you to go through that, because the information is right here and it's simple and it's practical and it works. But if you do stuff that you are told that works but that doesn't, you start questioning yourself. And again, it creates frustration, which is completely unnecessary. And that is my reason for always focusing on simplicity, practicality, even though this stuff is deep. It's deeply spiritual, but you don't need to complicate it, specifically overcomplicate it. And if you have watched any of my older videos where I explain how the law of assumption works, after watching this video, it will make sense to you why I explain things the way I do. And I have to say that since I started coaching, it was, again, years ago, I have had so many clients tell me that they come to me specifically because I make it simple. In reality, I don't make it simple, I keep it simple. It's just not meant to be overcomplicated. And, you apply the right techniques, you get the result. There's no hocus pocus. There's no someone out there or some universe outside of you deciding what you can or can't have. So this was more or less my journey, how it started out, like, ooh, I can have everything I want, and then disaster, apparently I can't. A lot of frustration, a lot of confusion, a lot of questions, no answer, until I found the law of assumption. The law of assumption masters started with Joseph Murphy, to be honest, but then I stuck with Neville Goddard. But I have to say, I keep reading Joseph Murphy too, because he's an absolute genius, maybe quite underrated compared to Neville. They have the same methods, but they have a different language with which they deliver it. So if you are drawn to Joseph Murphy, I highly recommend. If you're drawn to Neville Goddard, I highly recommend. They have all the answers, and I'm here to deliver their teachings to you in a more modern language. And again, if you need any coaching, any help, guidance with your manifestations, please feel free to book a coaching session with me. I will be happy to guide you, to help you with anything you need help with. As I said before, I have so much experience in this. I have experience in everything that doesn't work. And I have experience in everything that does work. And everything I am teaching on this channel is stuff that I have tried, tested several times, many times myself, used it with my clients. This is stuff that gives results. And of course, it's all about your own mind. It's all about keeping it on the inside. It's not because of this specific technique that I'm teaching, or I don't know, the specific way of affirming. It always goes back to self, and there's no universe out there. Nothing and no one decides what you can or can't have. It's all in your mind. It's all in your imagination. All we learn is to control our mind so that we can have the results that we desire. That's basically it. All the techniques and everything that we explain and do and apply is because of that. We're simply controlling our own mind, our own inner world, which emotions are also part of. And that was it. I really, really hope that this was helpful for you, that this was inspiring, and this was interesting for you to listen to. Please leave me comments. Let me know what you think, and maybe share some things from your own journey. Maybe you went through something similar. And have a beautiful day, and see you in the next video.